Let's get your Bronco build, avoid getting it canceled, causing you to lose thousands of dollars. So let's avoid that cancellation. Let's make sure you know what you need to know to increase, pretty much guarantee your chances of getting built or increase your chances of getting built depending on the modification you make to your order. And let's also cover when everyone else can also order. So we're going to be talking about information for reservation holders as well as new people wanting to order their new Bronco. Yes, you will be able to order a 2023 Bronco even if you've never reserved or ordered one before. We're going to be talking about that date, so do watch the end of the video because we're going to cover everything you need to know, because here at Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, we are here to help and we do want to save you thousands. So I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, here to help, and we do hope save you thousands and avoid getting your Bronco canceled. Now, if you're already scheduled, if your Bronco's already scheduled, you don't have to worry. If you already have a VIN and you're scheduled to a date, you don't have to worry. But if you're not scheduled yet, you need to listen up. And if you're thinking of ordering a Bronco when order banks open, well, we're going to cover those dates and the constrained items that are constrained today and making it difficult to build certain Broncos. You should hear about this. It will help you. So I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. And well, we're here to help. To help us out, please hit that subscribe button and the little bell notification so you don't miss out on any really important information. So let's start with some don't be fooled. I want to make sure you've made it to this far in the video because I'm going to give out the really good stuff, the must know right away. Don't be fooled. Ford is still making Wildtrak Broncos. Not all Wildtrak Broncos are going to get canceled. Not all Sasquatch equipped Broncos, Sasquatch package or luxury package Broncos are going to get canceled. So that was a little bad little rumor that passed around on the internet. And I want to clarify that. Ford isn't canceling all the orders that are Wildtrak, Sasquatch, or luxury package, but these are the constrained items. So repeating that, Wildtrak constrained. We've got the luxury package, it's also constrained. We've got the hardtop, that's constrained. And well, the hitch is no longer constrained. So good news there. Now, having all of these on your order, that's where the real problems arise. I'm going to talk about this in detail, but I've been talking about this really since the very, beginning of Broncos getting delivered. You see our blue Bronco that Marie is hugging right there. Well, that was a sacrifice Bronco that we absolutely loved. We took a Bronco without Sasquatch and without hardtop, and we got built pretty much at the very beginning. We got that in September 2021. So we got built, not because we removed all the constrained items, because it's, back then there was a few extra constrained items. We had the hitch, but we got built. And beside, we got that other Bronco, so his and hers Bronco. Well, that is a Sasquatch, and it's in Outer Banks, and it got built just because it wasn't a hard top. So we're going to talk about probabilities of getting built, what you need to do, and at the end of the video, you will want to watch then because we're going to be talking about important dates for ordering a new Bronco. Yes, it's coming up, and also what deadlines you have for making the changes if you so choose to make changes. So let's start off by saying it is Ford's goal to build all the current reservations. So you don't have to make changes. But if nobody makes any changes, well, there are going to be consequences. You won't get built as a 2023 and you're going to lose thousands of dollars because you're not going to get your special rebate for having waited this time, your special offer, and you also won't have a chance to jump on a $2,500 offer that Ford is offering to reservation holders to make changes to their order. We're going to talk about what those changes are, but first let's make it really clear. Ford's goal is to make all the reservations. Now, hopefully enough people change because right now there's about a 10-15%, 5 to 15%, I should say, between each constrained item. So the it's constrained by about 5 to 15% per item. Now, if you change just one item, you're going to increase your chances, but not guarantee your build. If you change all of them, you're guaranteeing your build. So Ford is still building those Wildtraks. But let's talk about what needs to be done in important details first. So previously, the bad news was that Ford had, sold a lot of Broncos, and actually that's good news because it guarantees that we're going to have further additions of Broncos, that they'll invest the money to get new model Broncos to us sometime later in 2020. So maybe around 2027, 2028, we should be seeing a new model Bronco. But the really bad news is that some dealers really oversold the Bronco. They sold a lot more than they're going to receive. So I talked about that from the very beginning, to be careful what dealer you order from. Ask them how many roughly they're going to get for the year and where you are on the list to give you an idea of about when you're going to get it. And that was an important piece of shopping advice. But now Ford's going to correct that, because what they're going to do is the dealers that have oversold their Broncos, well, they're going to, you could say, dip into that dealer's 2024 Bronco allocation, lower how many they're going to get in 2024 so they can give them more in 2023. So builds are going to go to dealers that need them, even if they did oversell their Broncos. So that's great news. And then, of course, the other piece of great news is that Ford really is trying to build all these Broncos because they have not opened up ordering new orders for Broncos. So far, all the 2023 production has been focused solely on producing these old reservations. Now let's talk about what needs to get done. So with giving more Bronco allotment, more Bronco builds to dealers that need them, Ford is working hard to provide all these orders to people who have waited for over a year. I like to call them the Bronco long haulers. Now, a lot of that is mostly in the system. It's Wildtrak with a hardtop and a luxury package. Now, those things, if you really want to increase your chances of getting built, you got to remove them all. And if you do, if you remove the luxury package, Wildtrak, or if you're just a Sasquatch, you remove the Sasquatch, and you go to a Big Bend, Outer Banks, or Badlands like we did right here. Well, we did it and we didn't get paid to do it, but now you're gonna have a $2,500 rebate. So that's really fantastic news. So Ford wants to get all these Broncos built for the reservation holders, but Ford needs your help. Like I was saying, each of these constrained items is constrained by about 5 to 15%, meaning suppliers just can't bring enough of the parts required for the Sasquatch package. Even though they're making a lot more hardtop production is at about 65%, it's still not enough. So Ford needs your help to get these built. And if you don't get built because you keep, the worst, least likely build possible, the Wildtrak with luxury package and hardtop, well, some of you will get built with all those constraints, but a portion of you will not, and you won't get your private offer. So you're going to be basically starting your order all over again in 2024, paying 2024 pricing and 2024 interest, just like I mentioned in this week's live on Monday night. But I'm making a special video to talk about just the Bronco in case you didn't sit through and watch the whole hour-long live. So let's point out, because suppliers can't get all the parts to the factory, if everyone holds their build, some will not get built, will get reset, are going to spend thousands of dollars more if they reorder a 2024 Bronco. So you're not going to get to carry over your old order, and that's going to cost you thousands. So these are really important tips that you need to take into consideration. You do have the option to do nothing. Some will pass. Hopefully enough other people will have made the changes that there won't be constraints anymore. But people have hung on this far. I worry if you don't make at least one of these changes, I worry you won't get built. So do consider making at least one change, such as going to soft top, or maybe you got a Wildtrak hardtop. Well, what worked for us was Sasquatch soft top on the Outer Banks, and that passed through. Do avoid the luxury package though. We took the high package, we're quite satisfied, and if need be, we can always change out the speakers or add a sound bar. Now, of course, if you do go straight to a Big Bend, Outer Banks, or Badlands, you will get the $2,500 rebate. And as you can see, Marie actually, in this photo, that's very indicative of how Marie feels. Sorry, I'll turn over here. Marie actually prefers the Badlands over our Sasquatch. I mentioned it in the live. The Badlands was more than enough when it comes to off-roading. Plenty of tire size. Plus those tires were good both in Florida weather as well as very cold northern winter conditions. So really happy with how those tires did. They didn't wear irregularly, even though we were using them from very hot to very cold conditions. Now, continuing right along, you do get that $2,500 rebate if you switch to a Badlands, Outer Banks without Sasquatch, of course, or the Big Bend. Ford will pay you to do that. So if you remove Wildtrak altogether, Sasquatch from other models, the hardtop, and the luxury package, you need to remove everything that's constrained, and then Ford's giving you the $2,500 rebate. And really the reason for that, I can only make, logically, to me it makes sense. They want to free up as many parts as possible so that those that don't make the switch still get built. So we really do need, of all the remaining orders, we do need some people to make these switches to make everyone's life better. So please, if you trust me, the soft top is great for just flipping open. It's much easier down in Florida and North Carolina. Everyone with a hardtop Jeep was running with their hardtop closed. My buddy with his hardtop, guess what? He didn't have his top off. Us, of course, we dropped it. It was super easy to just throw it back. Now, let's talk about those constraints and what the percentages are at. What Ford is being sent by the suppliers and as such can manufacture. So here it is. Hardtop, Ford can build 67% of their Broncos with the hardtop, but the demand is at 85%. So everyone seems to want a hardtop, and I just seem to absolutely love my soft top. And I know Dave and Kelly from All Terrain Nation, they also made the sacrifice, switched to a soft top, and they have not been disappointed either. I mean, I'm not going to speak for them. You can watch their channel. I know I do. I've subscribed over there, so don't forget to subscribe to All Terrain Nation. Now, continuing on, while I did talk about this on my Monday live, I'm giving more details. It did help. I watched Tim Bartz on Long MacArthur, took some notes because unfortunately, while we got most of this news given to us, we didn't get to know exactly what the demand was. We know what the buildability is, but not the demand. So continuing with buildability, Sasquatch is at 40% buildability. And if they could build more, they would, but the suppliers are not keeping up. Ford's doing their best here. They put the vehicles together, suppliers send them the parts. Now about 10 to 15% more want the Sasquatch package. The luxury package is at 40% buildability and 46% of it want it. So it's a little over demand, meaning if 6% of, if a certain percentage, thousands of people, let's say, remove this, well then the few that left it on won't have any issues. But try to be one of those people to switch at least one right away, because I've got a really bad feeling that most people are going to wait to the deadline, see if they get a build date, and then everyone's going to switch at the same time. And that's not going to be productive because, well, there'll already have been a whole bunch assigned. So increase your chances by making at least one switch. That's my piece of advice. And of course, if you switch them all, you get a $2,500 rebate. If you switch nothing and you don't get built, well, the risk is you lose your private offer and you miss out on this $2,500 opportunity. So now let's talk about the Wildtrak. It's at 15% buildability in the States. Here, our percentage is a little different, so I'm using this number from Tim Bartz. So thank you very much, Tim Bartz, for informing the community to help people get their Broncos, and that's exactly what we want to do here on JCCR. So don't miss out. Do hit the bell notification and subscribe. So 15% of all Broncos can be built as Wildtrak, but the demand is at 27%. So that's an issue. Now, tow package is no longer an issue, as Ford can build 55% of all Broncos with a tow package. Here it's 40% in Canada, so sometimes the numbers are a little different, but only 31% of orders that are left to be built are asking for it. So no issues now on the hitch. Now that's something I at least had noticed with my own builds with Broncos that I was seeing arriving at dealerships over here in Canada. They mostly had hitches and didn't have huge wait times. However, here in Canada, we sold a lot of soft tops. So we don't have very many long haul reservation holders who are still waiting for their Bronco. They're all, at least locally, they're all really well advised to switch to the soft top. Both our Broncos, we switched to the soft top and we got them even though we asked for Sasquatch, when Sasquatch was really constrained, because Sasquatch package has gone up with time and so has hardtop, but still issues. Suppliers aren't getting enough to the manufacturer, to Ford. Now, let's talk about the deadlines. These are really important. You're going to want to note these. Now, great news if you haven't ordered a Bronco yet and you want to be able to order one, you will be able to order a 2023 Bronco, and that date is going to be the 27th of March. So far, that's what's being given. Do recall this could be, pushed back by a month. It could be moved forward by a week or two. But so far, it's looking like March 27th is the rough approximate date for when people who haven't ordered a Bronco can finally order a Bronco. So you can play around with the build and price website. I've done videos on the 2023 Ford Bronco, giving my tips and tricks and don't be fooled information. So check that out. Now, if you want to make a change and maybe get that rebate or just increase your chances of getting built, because let's say you remove the hardtop or you remove just the luxury package or both, you won't get the rebate, but you'll increase your chances of getting built significantly for every constrained item that you remove. You have until March 7th. Now, a lot of people aren't going to do anything until then, and to see if they do get built, my advice is if you wait until then and you haven't been built, you're going to have to change everything. If you want to, I'd say, risk it. Remove just the thing that bothers you the least. Put on the soft top or remove just the luxury package if that's the constraint that you could live without and get built right off. And report back. People are always reporting back on their success stories on the channel here, JCCR. So please do come back to the comments section and help the community out. That's what the community, I built this YouTube channel so we can be a community of auto enthusiasts that help each other out. And of course, I do want to save you thousands. That's the whole point of the channel. So do try to immediately remove one or two constraints. Now, switching from 4-door to 2-door does not get you the $2,500 rebate. So let's say you just really want that hardtop and you figure, you know what? I'm a 4-door right now, but I'll live without it. I'm just going to go 2-door so I can still get my hardtop. That's not going to get you the rebate. And, 2-doors, they were pretty much constrained throughout the whole time. People seem to have had a lot of long waits if they were a 2-door. And if you currently are a 2-door, well, you want to guarantee your build, remove all these constrained items. The luxury package, of course, and Wildtrak. And if you have a Sasquatch Badlands, well, just take a Badlands. We loved our Badlands. We think the Badlands is just a great build altogether. So those are your dates, folks. That's the information you need to know to possibly make $2,500 or to save you thousands, because if you don't do anything, yes, some will get scheduled, a Wildtrak luxury package, some will get scheduled and some won't, and you'll have missed your opportunity, and unfortunately, you're gonna end up, either not having a Bronco or taking a 2024 at what will almost certainly be a higher interest rate and higher MSRP price. Now, if you're tired of waiting on a Bronco, I'd say the finishing line is so close. Just make a few adjustments, at least one. But if if you're thinking the Bronco doesn't work anymore because you bought a camper that's, let's say, 4,000 pounds while the Bronco pulls 3,500 pounds, well, good news. Ford will also allow you to switch to another model and get a $2,500 rebate. And if you do find a Bronco in inventory somewhere, you also get the $2,500 rebate. So good news, and good news all around, but some modifications, like everything in life, we always have to adapt. So I'm giving you out the information so that you can adapt and get to driving your Bronco and loving your Bronco as we have loved the Broncos that we've owned. We've loved our Outer Banks Sasquatch. It's been fantastic. And the Badlands is actually our preference. We love the marine grade. the marine grade interior. Right now our Sasquatch is actually a leather Sasquatch, and Marie absolutely prefers the marine grade vinyl. And well, I'm on the fence. I like them both, but I do prefer the fact that the marine grade vinyl you don't have to pay an extra for. It's standard on both the Black Diamond as well as the Badlands. So I hope this information has been extremely helpful. If you haven't ordered your Bronco yet, I do hope that you watch to the end to get that information on about when you need to prepare your build. Start playing around with the system and deciding exactly what you want. So until next time, I wish you all more cars and more power.